Do not wait until the conditions are perfect to begin. Beginning makes the conditions perfect. And that's by the teacher that I've followed for a long time, Alan Cohen. So, welcome again to The Profitable Photographer. This is a solo episode, and my topic is all kinds of things that I have learned or confirmed from my 330 plus episodes and over 200 guests. So uh, I'm not going to reference every single guest and how to find it, but there's so much brilliant information and rich conversation that has changed me in the last 6 years. And if you've been listening for a long time, I hope it has had an impact on you. And if you're new, listen to a bunch because there's some really loving, smart, experienced, wonderful people that I've gotten to interview. Um, Two things I want to share. Okay, number one, I'm always looking for guests. So if you have somebody that you think would be great, you'd love to have me have a chat with, or if you would like to be a guest, please get in touch. Luci at lucidumas.com, or you can always find me on Facebook and message me. Even if you want a preliminary coaching session on a topic, I love to do those and share. So please help me find the people. So, all right. This journey has been so impactful to me. And I've had people reach out and tell me that they've learned a lot and they enjoy just hanging out with me, either solo or my guests, and listening to what we have to say. So thank you for that. What I've realized has happened too is this is an education for me. Some things, when we talk about it, my guests and I already know this, but they give a deeper understanding or confirmation. For example, and this is not one of the 10 that I listed, but it's very clear to me from all the conversations I've had that among the most financially successful people, high level of them do in-person sales if they're portrait or wedding photographers, especially portrait, and do them with a projector so that you can see the images large and show them different sizes easily and such. So that's always my first encouragement is to get past your fears of sales and sit with people. All right. So something that struck me that I guess I hadn't thought about, and this is number one. One of my guests said, having a successful photography business is really very simple, especially compared to so many other businesses. If you were going to start selling shoes, if you wanted to open a restaurant, uh, even, a little gift shop in a neighborhood, there's so much involved with that. And with us, we need some simple actions like being a decent photographer, having a workflow, finding people that will hire us, taking the photographs, selling the photographs, producing the photographs, and charging what we need to, and having a sales process so that we can pay our bills, have income, and, continue with the business. But it is not rocket science. We don't need any kind of degree. Now, it'd be nice to take a business class or 10. It'd be wonderful to, yeah, do, learn sales and all of that officially. But taking action day after day, waking up in the morning, what can I do to keep moving forward towards the goal? That is always how I've made progress with anything I've endeavored, and I'm sure it's the same with you. All right. Number two, I've learned from especially Bernie Griffith and Andrew Helmich. I had a recent guest that we talked about this, is that Facebook ads can be very, very powerful if we're especially in the high end market for finding clients. And the Facebook ads that seem to work are ones that specifically draw someone to us for a reason. And then we take them through our system, and at the end, assume that a good percentage, will order well. So you might want to look at what's called the Bernie style ad. Andrew Helmich is the podcaster with Photo Biz X, and I've had many of my coaching clients use this. And the example is that you say you're looking for, let's say, five, fill in the blank, and then the reason, which is, let's say, I'm upgrading my portfolio or I have a new location or something, and what they get, which is usually a session and a credit towards purchase that will cover at least one small print and have a little left over, and how to apply. Now, we have to have a nice website so people are like, who's this person? You need your collateral, you need uh, some basic foundation in place for this to be successful. But I've seen people over and over and over again have big sales when they do it right. When you do it wrong, you can easily waste a lot of time and maybe annoy people. So, all right, let's see. Is that number two? No. So, number three, and now I've gotten this over and over and over again from my guests, is that building relationships is the core of how we can succeed. Whether you're doing high volume or you're only doing 10 portraits a year with an average sale of $20,000 or anywhere in between, the relationships that we have with, first of all, potential clients, and then if we're networking, which is a great way to build a business and sustain a business, is to be connected with others and support their business, and hopefully they support ours in different ways. It's all about relationships. We need to be um, likable, trustworthy, clear, professional. We don't want to go too far into friend zone where people think that maybe we're going to give them stuff free. I made that mistake once or twice, and I learned there's a way to stay professional while having great relationships. Now, this was number 10, but I'm going to bump it up. Um, a lot of people these days are introverts. Our world is smaller a lot. We're online a lot. We don't talk on the phone for hours like we used to. And people think, oh, I'm too introverted. I can't make this work. Or especially because I'm introverted, I'm going to just sell digitals and then I don't have to, fill in the blank. The reality is, and there's this wonderful book I read, um, oh gosh, it'll come to me. But it was all about the superpower of introverts. And I think it's called Quiet. And the superpower for an introvert is you can focus your attention on your potential clients. And this kind of goes back to building the relationships and growing them. You have the ability, if you're an extrovert, to put your own needs for attention or acknowledgement, encouragement to the side and pay attention to them and help the potential clients feel seen and known. people that are extremely extroverted, sorry, often spend a lot of time getting attention, being like, wow, whiz bang, I'm fabulous, I'm funny, I'm smart, I'm all those things, which is great. And sometimes it's harder for them to feel connected to the client because they're looking for their own, and I'll put myself at times into this, looking for our own like need to feel valuable. And so if you're an introvert and you keep at it to step past your fears, you get to help others feel important. And really, that's the core with photography. That's one of the blessings. All right, let's see. I had a surprise in July from Andrew Hiorth. I chose in my 30 plus active years full time in photography to be the primary photographer and not have a staff and other people photographing for me. And that was a decision I thought based on the desire to be a photographer and be creative. And what Andrew explained, because he's got a thriving business with other photographers working for him, is that he has more time to be creative because he's not photographing families on the beach in white shirts with blue jeans. Like you can't see the silhouette above my head if you're listening, but it's a family on the beach with white shirts and blue jeans. He's not doing the meat and potatoes photography that is fun and relationship building, but because others are doing that, his relationships are with the people that work for and with him. And then he's got time. If you go to his website or Instagram or Facebook, he is one of the most spectacular creative photographers. He's won so many awards. So I had never thought of that. So thank you, Andrew. So that was number, I guess we've shifted it. So now this number 5. All right. Number 6 was very powerful for me. And it is a conversation which I had with Alicia Haskett. She is a woman who teaches people how to photograph Black women. And hearing some of the things she shared that I, having photographed Black people over the years, but not as much as she does or other people might, there were things, some of them that I knew and some of them that were new to me. Um, Number one, she said, if we're having a hair and makeup person, they need to know how to work with textured hair and how to do makeup that is going to photograph well for a Black person. Number two is retouching. We need to learn how to retouch so that people are not washed out. We don't want to make them too light. Uh, Presets can make Black skin orange, or we also don't want people too dark. So learning how to light and photograph and then retouch in a way that someone looks natural. And if there are lighter skinned people, how it balances out so people look like themselves. And then she said there's a major difference in posing women with curves. Boudoir is her specialty. And an example, and this is with a woman from Brazil, I posed and then retouched a beautiful woman um, in a way that her tushy looked small. And she saw the portraits and she said, oh, I love them, but my behind is too small. And what I learned from that is I need to know the culture. And nowadays, nice round booties are popular. People pay money to get them done, through every culture. But I found it very interesting. And if you go back and listen to Alicia, she explains some of the differences of how I might want my curves to show and how a Black woman might. So that was really cool. All right. Am I on seven then? Five, six, seven. So being on this show, coaching photographers and interviewing many, many pet photographers has totally confirmed what I suspected probably going back 15 years. I started to feel like there was an opening path for high-end, high dollar pet photographers. And over again, with so many of my guests that do pets, they've said they're selling wall portraits, they're selling albums, they're having sales averages in four and five figures. So 2,000, 3,000, 8,000. One of my coaching clients who specializes in horses just had a $14,000 sale. And it's not uncommon for her to have a five, six, $7,000 sale photographing horses and their riders and creating art for their homes. So high potential. And I love the stories that I've heard. And I love how the pet photography has become more and more and more creative and interesting. So if I was starting a new business, I've also learned a lot from my guests about some of the ways to photograph pets, some of the considerations that are different than um, photographing a child or an adult or a family. Now, this might be in something else that I was going to point out, but I'll do it now. I've also learned that my experience photographing toddlers would come in very handy photographing dogs. And the reason is number one, they understand a lot, but they can't communicate with words. Number two, short attention span. Number three, you have to work fast. And definitely there are differences. It's very hard to tell a toddler, sit and stay and have them do that or roll over, but that's another story. All right, next is something that many, 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 many conversations about, which is the importance of mindset, attitude, magnetism, positive thinking, whatever you want to call it. I've done several solo episodes on this, but have also had, um, dozens with people that teach and support others to, uh, you know, stay positive, focus on what you can do, all that good stuff. So Amy Frotton is one that had some very specific tools to change your mindset and maximize your success. And she says, number one, you want to break free from beliefs that limit you and also that hinder your motivation. So a belief might be because everyone in my neighborhood is, or my city is doing a shoot and burn model, that means I can't fill in the blank. And that's a very wah, wah, wah kind of energy, right? Um, the flip is that, hey, because all these people are doing that, there's a wide open field for someone that's going to give full service because there are people that want that. And when we're giving full service, we have to have less people to make the same amount of money. So I really liked that thought. She says, cultivate excitement and embrace growth. I love that. And another one is counter your self judgment with grace and compassion. And boy, that's a big one. And, a lot of therapy for a lot of people, including me, to move past self judgment, to be accepting of ourselves as we are. I was raised feeling like if I made one mistake, then I was a mistake. I'm sure if I asked my parents, they would say, we never thought that. But that was a message that I got. Um, Being perfect. My dad was a pastor, and there's a quote in the Bible that says something like, "Be ye perfect." And he talked about that, and I know he didn't understand how that concept of what perfect is can, oh, I got a little buggy, go away, is relative. We're all perfect. I love Don Miguel Ruiz's Four Agreements. I have a few podcast episodes where we explore the use of that powerful book and those four agreements to thrive in our businesses. And the agreement, always do your best. He says, and your best is going to change from time to time. So that gives us some ease that we don't have to, jump over every hurdle all the time perfectly. We can make those face plants. I got skiing on the brain. I wish I still was able to go put some sticks on my feet and fly down snowy mountains. But anywho, all right. And remember, this is still from Amy, everyone is on a journey of growth. So that's giving grace to others. And the last one she said is start believing in your awesome self because you are awesome. So I love that. Another little thing I caught from her was how to use Google My Business. And if you go find Amy Fraughton, Fraughton, and listen to that episode and the part about how we do Google My Business, it was quite cool, quite a wonderful tool. All right. So this might be number 8. Um, oh, yep, I already did this one, which is how photographing dogs and toddlers are similar and what makes them different. And this was from a recent interview by Lisa Franscone. All right. Allison Taylor Jones, this is number 9. She said something in the conversation that just struck me as so true. 40 plus years in this business. I've never thought about it this way, and yet it's absolutely my experience. Photographic sessions, every single one of us, we're giving a piece of our soul. We're even when I did um, senior portraits for a photography studio that wasn't mine when I was new in the business, connecting with people, getting them in front of your camera, finding a way to pose them, light them, prop them, and such in a way that communicates and, makes a good picture that people will love. That comes from something deep in us. And so, in thinking about that, we want to think about why we deserve to get paid well and earn a great living doing this. So, I just love that. All right. And the last one, which is perfect to be last, Mike Price wrote a book that I think you all need to go get and start working with. And it's called Quit Like a Pro. And he told us the story of a friend of his who passed away suddenly. I, may not have the details right, but he saw the difficulty when there was this working studio and suddenly the owner photographer was gone. The challenge for his family and friends and employees. So he lays out all the things we need to prepare for, whether we're quitting by choice or suddenly unable to run the business. And that I had lunch with him when I was at the Imaging Expo last year, the PPA convention, and it was so enlightening. So I think that's it for now. So just the reminder, go to lucydumascoaching.com and you will find a link to two gifts. I hope they both work. I haven't checked them in a while. And what was the other one? Oh, tell me who you want me to talk to and get me connected with them. Because, yes, of course, I'd love to have Sue Bryce on. I think I would need somebody saying to Sue that she's close to, hey, Sue, you really need to get on the Profitable Photographer, which I would love if she would. I knew her, went to some workshops of her way back when she was first starting and before she was the international influencer, superstar, amazing teacher, etc. that she is. Anyway, but there's so many wonderful people out there that I haven't heard of. So please share that. Or if you're one of those brave, wonderful people, please tell me you'd love to be on the show. That is all for now. And thank you, thank you, thank you for listening. And if you're on YouTube, I especially would love you to subscribe because I understand if I get a certain number of subscriptions, all of a sudden a lot more people start to see it, get the opportunity to listen to my guests and to me. And also, of course, subscribing anywhere that you listen to the podcast. So, happy holidays coming up here, and we'll talk to you later.